Hey guys, Captain Mike, welcome to Whiskey and Literature. I'm excited because tonight it's bourbon, the Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel. I picked this bottle up about 6 months ago at Total Wine & More. I was looking for the B523 and I asked the worker there, hey, do you have any Elijah Craig hidden in the back? And she's like, yeah, we actually have a bottle. And she came back with this instead of the B523, but I wasn't angry. I had a coworker who was just gushing over how much he liked this bottle, so I was excited to pick it up. I do have some other toasted bourbons at the house and even a toasted rye or two. And I've realized that not all toasted whiskeys are labeled toasted. Think the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked and the Old Forester 1910. And I do have a growing collection of the Elijah Craig single barrel proofs. I'm actually filling that collection in backwards, if you will. I picked up I think it was an A121 and a B522 recently. So I'm kind of filling that in backwards. But it's pretty nice occasionally to get home after a long day and not have such a big proof bomb and just have a nice sip of a 94 proof bourbon. Man, it's a good end to your day, but not too low proof. Let's go through the specs and stats of this bottle and then get it. This is Elijah Craig's standard mash bill, 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12% malted barley. It's essentially Elijah Craig small batch finished in a second barrel that has been toasted and then flash charred. Toasted just means that they took the barrel and they put a heating element inside of it and toasted it without any flames touching the staves of the barrel. And then flash charred just means they threw some flames in it for really quickly, not any significant amount of time, just to lightly char the inside of that toasted barrel. This is non-age stated, bottled at a nice 94 proof, and I paid $56.99 for this bottle in June of 2023 at Total Wine & More. I've only had a couple pours of this bottle, but let's get it. Every time I have a little pour of this, I think of the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. It is reminiscent of it, but with a twist. There's some spice on the nose that I don't get on the Woodford Reserve. And that sweetness that my brain on the Woodford Reserve says that's a really, really sweet banana. I think it's more of a toasted marshmallow on this bottle. I get just some underlying oak and a nice vanilla note. So I'm going to say toasted marshmallow, some spice, a little bit of oak and vanilla on the nose. I think if you like Woodford Reserve, the Double Oaked, and I really like that whiskey, then you'll like the Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel as well. Cheers. I do think that's nice. It's like an initial sweetness just followed by some spice, some pepper spice right there at the end. Just initial sweetness, boom, pepper spice. I haven't even opened my Old Forester 1910, which again is also a toasted barrel. And I believe that's also toasted and lightly charred, very much like this bottle is here. And it's almost the exact same price and almost the exact same proof. So I think probably that would be a great head-to-head, that Old Forester. Mrs. Captain's out of town right now. I think when she gets back in town, maybe it would be cool to do maybe even a 4-way blind with some of my toasted whiskeys. Just do the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked, the Old Forester 1910, the Elijah Craig toasted here. And you know, I have a Penelope. That's barrel strength though. It's quite a bit higher and it's heavily toasted. And I think it's level 3 char. So it'd probably be a different twist compared to this, but it might be a nice blind to do those 4 whiskeys, or maybe the 3 without the Penelope. I don't know. I haven't had a lot of that Penelope, just a couple of pours. Haven't opened the Old Forester 1910, and I've been through a few bottles of that Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. Yeah, just again, that nice sweetness followed by some pepper spice. Though as I was sitting here talking about the Woodford Reserve and the 1910 and the Penelope, I felt like my mouth was drying out, like it's a dry, and I'm really trying to pay attention to a tannic type finish, and I feel like that's what I have on this. It's a nice palate. It's nice sweetness and spice, but then it's leaving my mouth dry with some with some cinnamon there, and I think it's just a tannic finish. So that's just kind of, I'm not going to say it really detracts majorly from the whiskey. It's probably the least enjoyable part as opposed to the nose and the palate. The finish just detracts from the overall experience a bit, but overall I think this is a pretty good whiskey. I am a fan of the Elijah Craig products and the Elijah Craig small batch, and I think this toasted barrel just takes that expression and elevates it to a whole nother level. And like I said, this is almost super comparable to the 1910 and the Woodford Reserve, almost to the dollar and to the proof. So I think if you like those, you should give this a try. Availability for the Elijah Craig toasted, I feel like it was pretty scarce midpoint last year. I didn't see it on the shelf super often, but as I go to the store more and more these days, I do feel like it's on the shelf and readily available. So it's on the shelf at the stores, it's on my shelf, and I think it should be on your shelf too. All right, my guys, if you enjoyed the video, like it, it's free. Subscribe to see more of my content. I do both whiskey and book reviews, and I hope you're reading something good and drinking something great. Turn the pages, my friends, and stay thirsty. Cheers.